The quiet morning of July 17, 2000. Nahoon Reef, East London, South Africa. 15-year-old surfer Shannon Ainslie glides across the waves with his brother and several friends. This is the first day after the long winter holidays. They returned to school in the morning, but immediately after classes rushed to the beach. The water is clear, the waves are perfect, the sun plays on the surface of the ocean. Shannon is in his element. He doesn't know that in an hour and a half his life will change forever. Nahoon Reef is known among local surfers. It's a place with powerful waves and incredible drive. But it has another reputation too. Sharks are often seen here. Great white sharks patrol these waters, hunting seals and fish. Every surfer who enters the ocean here knows about the risk. But the waves are so good that fear takes a back seat. Today, there are about 10 surfers in the water. The atmosphere is relaxed. Everyone is catching wave after wave. But something is wrong. Shannon feels it. There's a strange smell in the air. The smell of sardines. Birds are diving into the water as if they've gone mad. Fish are jumping out of the ocean. These are signs. Signs that something big is happening in the water. Several surfers start paddling to shore. They sense trouble. Their instincts are screaming at them to leave. But Shannon stays. He's young, full of energy, and the waves are too good to leave. He sits on his board 100 meters from shore, waiting for the next wave. Around him, only ocean and silence. The other surfers are already on the beach. He's alone, completely alone. Suddenly, impact. Powerful, like a truck ramming him. Something huge crashes into him from below with incredible force. Shannon flies into the air, his board flips over. He falls into the water. A second of confusion. What was that? Then, pain. Sharp, burning, unbearable pain in his arm. He sees it. A great white shark. 4 meters of pure power, muscle, and ancient instinct. Its jaws clamp down on his right arm and board. Teeth, sharp as blades, dig into flesh. Shannon screams, but the sound is lost underwater. The shark pulls him down into the depths, into darkness. The water around him instantly turns red, with his blood. Underwater, Shannon opens his eyes and sees a nightmare. The shark is holding him, its massive head 1/2 meter from his face. He looks directly into its eye, large, black, soulless. This is the eye of a predator that knows no mercy. The shark looks at him. They freeze in this terrifying dance of death. Seconds stretch like hours. Shannon can't breathe. His lungs are burning, but he can't tear his gaze away from that eye. Then the shark releases him, just like that. It opens its jaws and slowly swims away into the depths. Shannon doesn't understand why. Maybe he's too big. Maybe the taste is wrong. Maybe it's just an investigative bite. Sharks do that. They bite to understand what's in front of them. But right now, it doesn't matter. Only one thing matters: survive. The survival instinct kicks in instantly. Shannon surfaces, gasping for air. His board is nearby, still afloat. He grabs it with trembling hands. And then he sees it. His right arm is a mess of blood and torn flesh. His pinky and ring finger hang by thin strips of skin. There's a huge hole in his arm. Bone is visible through the ragged edges of the wound. Blood gushes out, staining the water around him dark red. But adrenaline does its job. There's almost no pain. There's only shock and understanding. He's in mortal danger. Blood in the water will attract other sharks. He must get out, immediately. Every second counts. Shannon climbs onto his board and starts paddling to shore with one arm. He presses his injured arm to his chest, trying to stop the bleeding. 100 meters, 90, 80. He paddles with all his might. The shore seems so far away. The ocean around him is dead calm. The waves have disappeared. This is strange. This is eerie, as if the ocean is holding its breath. 70 meters, 60, 50. He's almost there, almost safe. And then, a second impact, even stronger than the first. Another shark. It attacks from the left, crashing into him with monstrous force. Shannon flies into the water again, but this time he sees it. A second great white shark. It misses. The first shark grabbed him first, and the second one didn't make it in time. But it's nearby, very nearby. Shannon sees its massive body gliding underwater. 4.5 meters of muscle and teeth. 2 sharks simultaneously. This is almost impossible. Great white sharks are solitary hunters. They don't hunt in packs. But now there are 2, and both are circling around him. Shannon understands. He won't survive if they attack again. He must move. Now. He climbs back onto his board. His hands slip from blood. The board rocks. He almost falls, but holds on. Blood flows in a stream, dripping into the water. Each drop is an invitation for sharks. He paddles. With one arm, with all his strength. His muscles burn. His lungs are tearing, but he doesn't stop. 40 meters. 35. 30. He looks over his shoulder, sees shadows underwater. The sharks are still there. They're following him, slowly, patiently, waiting for the next opportunity. 25 meters, 20, 15, and then a miracle happens. Out of nowhere comes a wave. One single wave in the dead calm ocean. Shannon catches it. The wave picks him up and carries him to shore. He lies on his board, pressing his injured arm to his chest, and the wave carries him. 10 meters. 5. The wave throws him onto the rocks at the shore. Shannon lies on the rocks, gasping. He's alive. He's on land. The sharks can't reach him here. But his arm. He looks down and sees the full extent of the damage. Flesh is torn. Fingers are hanging. Bone is visible. Blood is everywhere, on the rocks, on the board, on his body. A pool of blood grows beneath him. He knows, if he doesn't stop the bleeding, he'll die right here on these rocks. His brother and friends run to him. They saw everything from the beach, saw the attacks, saw how he fought for his life. One of the surfers quickly removes the leash from his board and tightens it above the wound on Shannon's arm, an improvised tourniquet. The bleeding slows down. This gives him a chance. Someone calls an ambulance, but Shannon knows the ambulance will take too long. Too long. His brother makes a decision. They put Shannon in a car and rush to the hospital themselves. Every minute counts. Shannon is in shock. He's shaking. The world around him blurs. He hears voices, but can't make out the words. Everything seems unreal, like a dream, like a nightmare from which he can't wake up. At the hospital, he's immediately taken to the operating room. Surgeons work for hours. They clean the wounds, remove damaged tissue, suture vessels, restore what can be restored. The fingers are saved. It's a miracle. Doctors say that a few more minutes and he would have bled out. A little longer, and the fingers would have had to be amputated. Shannon wakes up after surgery. His arm is bandaged, IVs are connected, monitors beep. He's alive. That's the main thing. But when the anesthesia wears off, the pain comes. Unbearable, throbbing pain. Each heartbeat echoes with a wave of agony in his arm. Painkillers help, but not completely. Days in the hospital drag on slowly. Shannon watches the news and sees himself. His attack made it to BBC World News. A tourist filmed everything on camera. The whole world now knows about the 15-year-old boy who was attacked by two great white sharks. Journalists want interviews. Everyone wants to know, how did he survive? What did he feel? Will he return to the ocean? Shannon doesn't know the answers. He asks himself these questions. At night, he can't sleep. Every time he closes his eyes, he sees the shark, sees its eye looking at him, feels the jaws clenching, hears the sound of tearing flesh. He wakes up in a cold sweat, screaming. Nightmares haunt him every night. Doctors tell him surfing is over. His arm will never be the same. Nerves are damaged. Muscles are torn. He should be grateful to be alive, should forget about the ocean and move on. But Shannon can't. Surfing isn't just a hobby. It's his life. It's who he is. It's his identity. He won't let the sharks take this away from him. Weeks pass. The wounds slowly heal. Physical therapy is excruciating. Every movement of his fingers is difficult. But Shannon works persistently. He squeezes a rubber ball, moves his fingers, again and again. The pain is unbearable, but he continues. He must regain function in his arm. He must return to the ocean. 6 weeks after the attack. The wounds haven't fully healed yet. The scars are red and angry, but Shannon makes a decision. He takes his board and goes to the beach. His family and friends go with him. They support him, understand how important this is. Shannon stands on the shore and looks at the ocean. Fear paralyzes him. His heart pounds wildly. His hands tremble. Every shadow underwater seems like a shark. Every movement of a wave, a threat. Memories flood back. The impact, the pain, the blood, the shark's eye. He almost turns around and leaves. But then he takes a step forward. Then another. The water touches his feet. Cold, familiar. He goes deeper, knee-deep, waist-deep. He lies on his board and starts paddling. Each stroke is difficult. Fear screams at him to turn back. But he continues. He catches the first wave, stands on his board, and for a moment, just a moment, the fear disappears. There's only him, the board, and the wave. The pure joy of surfing. That feeling he loved so much. That feeling he came back for. He catches another wave, then another. With each wave, fear recedes. It doesn't disappear completely. It's still there, in the depths of consciousness, but it no longer controls Shannon. Shannon understands. He can't let one day, one event, define his entire life. The sharks took his blood, his flesh, left scars on his body. But they didn't take his spirit, didn't take his love for the ocean. Years pass. Shannon doesn't just return to surfing, he makes it his profession. He becomes a surf coach, opens his own school in Jeffreys Bay, trains children and teenagers. Some of his students become professional surfers, win international competitions. One becomes a world champion in longboarding. Another wins silver at the Tokyo Olympics. Shannon uses his story to inspire others. He talks about that day not as a tragedy, but as a lesson about willpower, about overcoming fear, about life continuing after trauma, that you can rise after falling. Today, Shannon lives in Norway, beyond the Arctic Circle. He coaches the Norwegian national surf team, surfs in the icy waters of the Arctic. There are no great white sharks there, but there are orcas. And once, during a competition, an orca swam right under his board. For a moment, the old fear returned, but Shannon just looked at it, and the orca swam away. It was a sign. The ocean had accepted him back. Shannon Ainslie is one of the few people in the world to survive an attack by two great white sharks simultaneously. His story went around the world. But for him, it's not a story about sharks. It's a story about choice, about what to do when life knocks you down. Give up or get up and keep fighting. The ocean remains his home. The waves remain his passion. The sharks remain his neighbors, but fear no longer controls him. Shannon continues to surf, every day, every wave, because he understood the main thing. Life is not what happens to you. It's how you respond to it. It's the choice you make every day. The choice to live a full life despite fear, despite pain, despite scars. Two sharks, one life, and a choice: give up or fight. Shannon Ainslie made his choice, and that choice changed not only his life, but the lives of hundreds of people he inspired with his story. Because true courage is not the absence of fear. It's the ability to act despite fear. It's the ability to return to where you almost died and say, "I won't give up. The ocean is my home, and I'm back."